Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kylie, if you didn't know, and today I wanted to film a video where I talked about a handful of books I would like to read in 2024. I have yet to film a video talking about all of the books that I have read in 2023 because I am still reading and I'm still going. I think maybe for 2024 I would like to read just more books than I've read this year, so I'll figure out what that ends up being once we get to January 1st. With that said, I wanted to just talk about some of the books that I wanted to read. Maybe this is kind of like an accountability thing, and if anybody has read the books that I will be mentioning, I would love to hear any thoughts or suggestions or anything of that sort in the comments, perhaps. So, also, I don't know, not that I have many videos, but this is different than where I've sat before in videos, and that is because I'm at my parents' house. My parents live outside of DC now, so that's where I am. But yeah, I'm in DC, but I'm originally from Southern California, so that's where I would call home, but I no longer have any place to stay or reason to go, really, other than to see, like, California itself. So anyways, that's just a little fun fact about me. So that is that. I suppose I will just get into the video now. So the first book I actually have here, I've purchased a few books since being here in DC, but I've started it already, but I don't think I'll finish it by the end of the year. But I started Letters to Milena by Franz Kafka. I don't know why, I just like really wanted to read it, and I think like reading people's correspondence is pretty interesting. And the thing I find interesting about this book in particular is that they didn't really know each other in real life. Milena translated one of his novels, and from there that's initiated the correspondence. But following, they kind of just developed a relationship that was purely through the form of letters, and that relationship lasted for a few years, or their correspondence lasted for maybe 3 or 4 years, and then Kafka cut it off, and then a few years later he died of tuberculosis, so a little sad. But other than that, I don't really know much about it, but I know I would like to read this, so yeah, I don't know. I think letter writing and just seeing how people converse via letters is interesting, so I have started this, and I find it quite interesting thus far, so I don't know. The next book I have is this beautiful pink color. And the book I have here is The Chandelier by Clarice Lispector. This is not her debut novel, but this is still very early on in her writing career, but it was written when she was 23, and it is about Virginia and her cruel, beautiful brother Daniel, who grew up in a decaying country mansion. They leave for the city, but the change of the locale leaves Virginia's internal life unperturbed. In intensely poetic language, Lispector conducts a stratigraphic excavation of Virginia's thoughts, revealing the drama of Clarice's lifelong quest to discover the nucleus made of a single instant, and displaying a new face of this great writer, blazing with the vitality of youth. I think the very fact that she wrote this when she was 23 is what drew me to pick it up. I'm 24 myself, so I feel like, I don't know, being able to relate at least from like an age and life experience perspective would be interesting, and I really enjoy Clarice Lispector. I'm almost done with Agua Viva, and I've read The Apprenticeship and the Book of Pleasures already. I also just am very drawn to this cover. It is just so vibrant and pink, and like, I really love the design of this. And it's very different from her other books, which are kind of more subdued, and this is quite in your face and bright. But I don't know. I don't really know what to expect. It is like a longer work of hers compared to some of her other books, but I don't know. I think it'll be interesting, and maybe this is more narrative based compared to her other novels slash books slash, I don't know, collections of prose, whatever. So we'll see. I am interested to see what this is because I feel like you never really know what you're gonna get with her until you kind of just get halfway through the book, and then you kind of understand what's going on, yet at the same time it really could go anywhere. So I think that's something very exciting and dynamic about her and her work. So we have The Chandelier by Clarice Lispector. Okay, those are the only ones that I have physically here, so I will just pop pictures up for the rest of the books I want to mention. The next book I would like to read is Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. I've only read one other work by him, and that's Never Let Me Go, and I really love that book. It's actually one of my favorite books ever, and I really enjoy the film as well. And I feel like it's due time for me to read another one, given that I really did enjoy Never Let Me Go. I actually bought one of his other books. It was something like The Berry Giant or something like that. I didn't realize it was like quasi-fantasy, and I was like, maybe this isn't my tea. And I tried to read it, and it turned out to be not really my thing. But I've heard lots of great things about The Remains of the Day, and after reading Never Let Me Go, a lot of people suggested that I read that one next. So I think that would be a good segue. And I already own a copy of it just at home. It's about something to do with England and a butler and something like that, but outside of that I don't really know. We have a lot of animals in this house right now, so if there's barking I apologize, but it just kind of is what it is, unfortunately. The next book I have is Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh. If you haven't already seen Saltburn, which is a film that came out recently, very dark academia, homoerotically charged, a lot of great things, honestly. I will say I enjoyed the movie. A little unsettled, but not unsettled, but unsatisfied by the ending. And also, I feel like there's an element of class critique that the director participates in, but she said it was unintentional. Yet it seems so deliberate in the film. She has said it was about desire and first love, which I get, and what it means to be obsessed and to yearn for something that is just perpetually out of your reach. But I don't know. I also learned that she came from kind of old money too, which is like whatever, but also I don't know. I'm open to different perspectives and opinions as far as her position to the film and what she's saying, but I guess I'm just not sure how I feel at the current moment. That's just something I've been thinking about. Tangent aside, the book that kind of inspired the setting of the film / kind of narrative of the film is Brideshead Revisited. Other than that, I don't really know what it is about. I've never read a Evelyn Waugh novel before, and I've been wanting to. He's been on my list of authors to check out. So I think that would be good, considering I kind of like know the story already to my understanding, and I think it would be kind of cool. I don't know. It just seems interesting, and I do, as even though I'm kind of like unsure of Saltburn, I do still enjoy the premise of it, and so I think that in novel form would be very interesting to explore a little more. Next, I have To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. I have just finished Orlando, and I feel really upset at myself for taking this long to read Orlando. I've decided that it is my favorite book of all time. It's amazing. I'll talk about it more extensively in my 2023 books I read, whatever the video ends up being. I just wanted to read another one of her novels, and another popular one that I have yet to read is To the Lighthouse, so I thought I would check that out. I convolute the premise of all of the novels that she has. I know the different storylines and the different titles, but I don't necessarily know which goes to which, so I'm actually To the Lighthouse. Okay. It is about a family living on the coast. It's kind of giving me similar vibes to The Waves as far as following children's perspectives and relationships as these children grow into adults and how time changes relationships and perspectives, etc., etc. Other than that, I don't really know the premise. It's about a family living off the coast of Scotland. But yeah, I just would like to read it. And I also own it already, so I thought that would be good to check out. The next book I would like to read, kind of on the topic of Virginia Woolf. The first Woolf novel that I read was Mrs. Dalloway, which is, I feel like, kind of a classic intro to Virginia Woolf. But the novel that actually inspired Virginia Woolf to write Mrs. Dalloway was Ulysses by James Joyce. I've tried to read The Portrait of an Artist by a Young Man before. I've tried to read it numerous times and just have been unsuccessful every time. But for whatever reason, I said, let's skip that one and let's go to Ulysses. So, I don't know. I think it would just be interesting to see the novel and read the novel that inspired Mrs. Dalloway. It will probably be difficult and it will probably be a feat, but I also am open to the challenge. And I feel like since I've attempted to read James Joyce, I've become better at comprehending in my reading, and so I feel a little bit more confident. It is getting really dark, so I am going to just do one more book. That is A Burst of Light and Other Essays by Audre Lorde. I read Sister Outsider this summer and really enjoyed it, and I figured that this was another essay collection by her, and I figured that that would be a good one to read after Sister Outsider. I know she also has the cancer journals and some poetry, which I'm sure I will be checking out in some capacity in the next year, but I think her essays are at the top of my list in terms of what I would like to read from her. I just really, really enjoy them and value her perspective and all that jazz. So anyways, but that is kind of what I'm just going to stop with, because I am also very much a mood reader. So I don't want to say like 25 books that I would like to read and then not read most of them. Just because I'm in the mood right now doesn't mean that I will be 5 weeks, 10 weeks, 15, etc. So I'm just gonna keep it at a cool 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool 7. That's all. I will be filming a video about the books that I read in 2023 soon, but if you've read any of the ones I've just mentioned in this video, I would love to hear what you have thought of them, or just like any of the authors, any opinions whatsoever. I love hearing people's opinions and experiences with different books and authors and the like. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you when I see you.